Lost Ark is a new MMORPG that has recently been released in early February to the West. This game started out and is still going strong in Korea, where it originated from, and let me tell you, I have absolutely been loving this game so far, as well as my friends. The fear that I had was with it being a Korean MMO was that there were going to be systems involved that were daunting, confusing, and overwhelming. And in a way there is, but Lost Ark does a great job of walking you through step by step. However, there is still a ton of information thrown at you that takes a good bit of time to grasp. Today I want to share with you what I have learned and walk you through step by step in the Lost Ark Complete Beginner Guide of levels 10 to 50 in 2022. Hey everyone, my name's Adam and I run the brahwegotthis channel here, and I mainly focus on Elder Scrolls Online content and guides in this channel for the other MMO there, if you're familiar with it. But today I'm taking a leap of faith and trying to start moving towards posting some guides for other games similar to ESO. And so today's culprit is Lost Ark. As always, a massive thanks to all my patrons and YouTube members. I really do appreciate all the support. If you want to check out how to become one or check out all my social links, twitch.tv/brahwegotthis. We stream Tuesday through Friday. The Discord, our website, brahwegotthis.com. It is all down below in the description. But let's go ahead and get into this. So first off, what is Lost Ark? Like I said in the intro, it is a Korean MMORPG that is free to play on PC only. If you don't know what an ARPG is, they are essentially games like Diablo or Path of Exile. I heard a good comparison recently is that you basically take this game and you mix it with Diablo and meld it together with a theme park MMO. But the main thing that people get caught up on is this is a top-down isometric game. Many people say, I'm not really sure if I will like the top-down view. My advice to you is to give it about 5 hours since it's free, and I think a lot of you may actually like it. Lost Ark doesn't require a subscription to play also, which is something that is very refreshing, because if you want to download it and try it, it's very, very easy to do. You just need to go to Steam and download it from there. Next, moving on to character creation and selecting your class and spec. Each class in Lost Ark looks absolutely fantastic and so satisfying. They really nailed the animations, sounds, and feel of each class in my opinion. But at this screen, you will have the option to choose these classes. The Warrior, which breaks down into 3 subclasses. So you have Berserker, the two-handed greatsword Chad that just smashes everything in its way, the Gun Lancer straight out of Monster Hunter, and the Paladin, a holy/support class. Next you have the Mage, which splits into the Bard, the support class that plays instruments, and then the Sorceress, which is a true mage DPS class that has insane effects. Next you have Martial Artist Female, which breaks into War Dancer, using your fists to output some serious damage, Scrapper, and Soul Fist. To me, Soul Fist looks like mostly similar to Dragon Ball Z, but to be honest with you, I don't really know the difference between these subclasses because I have not played those. Next is Martial Artist Male, which again looks like something from Street Fighter or DBZ, but that breaks down into Striker, the Striker subclass, and then after that is the Gunner Male. This breaks down into Sharpshooter, which is epic so far in my playthrough of it, but this is the Bow class. Then you have Deadeye, which is very similar as the Gunner female subclass Gunslinger. Essentially, you can use guns and go boom boom. Then you have Artillerist, which is basically a person that shoots turrets and massive guns, and I've heard that these are beasts in PvP. Like I said, Gunner Female turns into Gunslinger, which is using guns to do DPS and quick movements. And then the last class is Assassin. This breaks down to Deathblade, which is sort of like a Nightblade, you could say, in ESO, but cooler. You also have the Shadow Hunter, which is another form of this class. Something to note is if the class doesn't denote the gender next to it, it is gender locked for whatever that class is. So Warrior is male, Mage is female, and Assassin is female. So once you decide which class is best for you, you can go into the customize option. The character creation is pretty decent, but it's not the most detailed one I have seen. But there is a good bit of facial options, tattoos, and hair options. But most importantly, there's beards. But essentially something I want you to know or take away from character customization is that when you get to naming your character, your name will not be able to be used on any other server if you switch servers. It's kind of odd, but I guess it is what it is. But once you launch into Lost Ark, you will be in the training room. The amazing part about Lost Ark is you're able to try out your character subclasses with most of your abilities for as long as you'd like in the training room. It immediately gives you the subclass, so you don't even have to wait for that. So you can test out the subclasses and figure out what you like. And after this, you have the option to skip the prologue. And personally, if this is your first playthrough, I would do the prologue so you can get a head skin and also just get a feel for your class, but you will automatically be level 10 after the prologue. Now let's talk about movement and abilities in combat, okay? This again is a top-down isometric game, so a lot of people are turned off to this because if you aren't used to playing these games, especially in MMO, you will feel a bit wonky as you move around about the map. But essentially, right-clicking the ground will move your character, and then left-clicking will light attack. Now, you can switch that keybind if you would like to, but I like the default. Another thing to note is the C key will also light attack, and that's something you could also rebind if you'd like to. Now, something you can also do is hold your right click mouse and just point it where you want to go, and that will also move you. To auto run, you press T, and then if you're mounted, you will also be auto mounting at the same time. To interact with objects, you press G or you right click them. Now to mount up, you need to first go to your inventory, right click the mount, or move the mount to a hotbar location. Then just press your hotkey for that and you will mount up. So my hotkey is 5, so I will press 5 to mount up and I have my little scarab here. I'll talk more about traversing the map in the next section, but for combat, let's get into that a little bit. Every class is different, but you will all start out with 6 abilities to use, which is fantastic, and it allows you to really get a feel for your class at the very beginning of the game. You'll see the abilities down on your hotbar, and they are auto-assigned to keys. You can change these by going to Settings, and then going to Hotkeys, go to Skill, and you can change them right here. Now, with combat, every subclass has a specialty ability, or ultimate, you could say. Each one will be activated by either pressing Z or X, and there could be some other keys as well, but for me, mine is Z. The Berserker basically goes into Fury mode, which if you see here, does this, and it's freaking crazy. And then I can use his ultimate to do something like that, which is even more insane. And I have different abilities and things that happen when I go into this mode. So I'll fill up my Fury meter in my class, and that's kind of like what my class is built around. The Sharpshooter gets a hawk that does things for it as well. And basically every class just has a unique thing. Now there are certain symbols on combat skills, and I want to talk about those. So if we look down in our skills here, the arrows down here mean that this is like a combo skill. So that means that it's going to do more, abilities or damage or something as a combo instead of just a normal attack. If you've got a arrow pointing down, that is a charge ability. So that means that you have to hold that and it will essentially have a meter and you will release it when you need to release it. So you'll see here that when I do my spin, I have to hold the ability. When I do this blade, I have to hold this ability and put it in that little section right there to do the special effect. Now, when you level up, you're going to be getting skill points. And to get to your skill points or your skills, you can press K on the keyboard. But essentially, this is where it gets a little bit overwhelming for a lot of players, and you're gonna probably feel this for sure when you go into the game, but I'm gonna try my best to try to help you out here. I'm gonna give you a basic rundown of what this is. So you'll see your skills here. And you're not gonna have all of these unlocked yet, but you will slowly unlock all your skills. And what you'll see here is it says skill level, plus minus, and it has these little bars here, right? Well, let's take a look at this level 1 skill. To get this to be able to use these passives, we have to put 4 skill points into this. Now, once you're at 4 here, right, we could get these passives. I could put this on the bar and we'd have these abilities, right? Well, watch this. When I press up, it says 5, but it's grayed out. It won't let me do any more points. Why not? Well, if you look over here to the left, it says required skill points 4. So each tier of level that you go up, it requires more skill points to put into the skill. And essentially, you'll see when you hit 20 points here total, you'll get this level. When you hit 48 points here, you'll get this level. These levels do more and more effects that help your skills out. Now, the cool thing about skill points are you can deduct these at any time. You don't have to pay a certain thing or anything like that. You can literally deduct these at any time. So like I have these maxed out right now, and because these are some of the abilities that I really like. So if I wanted to try some different setups out, I could literally just minus some of these points, put them into some of these, and max out some of these skills. I'm not going to go super in depth in this because I'll probably be making another guide for this, but you'll see that obviously the more that you rank these abilities up, the better passives you get. So if you look here, I mean, I'm able to get all 3 of these because I've put, so many points into this. I put like 48 points into this. And so you really just kind of have to choose what you think is best for your playstyle. Now, there are obviously probably meta things, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I like with the warrior over the meta. And if you would like to see more Lost Ark content here in the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. We'll try to cover a bunch of stuff here for you all. Now that you have the basic combat, interacting, and movement down, let's talk about pets and mounts. Pets pets and mounts are crucial parts of the game of Lost Ark. And guess what? You can get one basically immediately right out of the tutorial. For your mount, you'll talk to Brother Alfiel, and you can pick between 3. If you make alternate characters, you can actually pick each one and collect all the mounts, because the pets and mounts are account wide on a server, which is amazing. But what mounts do are they essentially help you traverse the world faster and more efficiently. So you'll see here are all my mounts that I actually own already, which is kind of insane. They are also there to show off achievements you got, drops you got from them, and just to show how cool you are. I love the mounts so far in Lost Ark, and I think I already have like 5 when I started writing this video, but if you look now, I've got over 10, like 9 or 10, so that's really cool. But to put a mount on your bar, you just basically need to go to your inventory and right click to register it, and then go to the guides tab at the bottom and go to mounts, and you can press Alt V for shortcut, and you can go here and you can drag a mount here to your bar if you would like. Right now I have the Scarab mount, which I think is pretty cool. Now, basic mounts don't have abilities, but rarer mounts and more hard to get mounts give you special perks. So if I put this mount on my bar and I mount up, you will see that I have all these abilities. As you see here, this hoverboard mount gives me a speed boost by pressing Q. This is a neat feature from the mount system, and for pets though, you'll eventually do a quest very early on outside the tutorial to get your first pet. Or you might have one from the store or founder's pack, but essentially to bring up the pet menu, you go to guides, which is right here, you go to pets, and you essentially can see the pet that you have active. I have 3 total pets. You can rename the pet, and it shows you their basic abilities. The big thing about pets, which is crazy, is they auto loot items. This is the biggest perk that they get. But if you have the Crystalline Aura, they also have other pet functions like looking at your storage. They can store stuff for you. You can do the market from them, remote mail, repair. You can do all kinds of other stuff as well. Now I'll get into the Crystalline Aura a little later, but they also have pet effects. So this gives us more max hit points. This gives us more crit. So pets are really essential, and I really like what they do for you in the game. But now that we've went through some of the menus, because you've seen we've pulled up a few of these, let's get into the menus in general and everything you need to know about them, because if you don't understand them, they can be very overwhelming. So menus are something that usually plague Korean MMOs, and I'm not looking at you, BDO, but this game does have a lot, but the UI in this game is actually phenomenal in comparison. The game also does a great job at not letting you unlock certain menus or features until you have leveled to it and have discovered it. This is a massive help with beginner players because it makes you a little less overwhelmed. So I'm going to go into each of the menus briefly. So we're going to go down the bottom one. Obviously the store menu is the store, okay? The roster menu though is stuff that is for your account. So you have the memory chamber, which shows you different like cutscenes and everything like that. You have the achievement tab, which will show all the achievements that you have and everything you've earned. You've got titles, which you will earn by doing quests and different achievements. You can change it up and you'll have so many different things, and titles also give you virtue points, which we'll talk about a little later. You also have engraving effects, which we will not get into because that is something later on down the road. You have the card catalog, which is the cards that you collect. This is something that will be useful later in the game. We'll touch on this briefly, but not crazy amounts. You have the roster information. This shows you all the passives that you get from all your characters. So as you level up your roster, you're going to be able to claim all these rewards. There's going to be potions, there's going to be cosmetics, and this will be applied to all of your characters, not just one, which is really neat. You then have integrated presets, the Book of Coordination, which is for PvP. You have trade skills, which we will get into a little later. You have combat skills, which we just went into. Inventory, which is which is very simple. You've got your normal inventory, your pet inventory, and your storage right there, and you can sort as well throughout there. You've got your character profile, which will show you your title, your guild. PvP will show you your gear score. It'll show you skins, engravings, gems, cards. You don't need to worry about these right now. This is something that's more advanced, and we're going to go into that in other videos. For the adventure, you've got the Bifrost, which don't need to worry about. Sheet music, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. Collectibles, this is the collectibles tab. I'll talk briefly on that as well. We've got Rapport, which again, a lot of the stuff we will talk about in this video. Adventure Tome, Una's Tasks, which you won't unlock for until you're 50. Quest Journal, which is where you see all your quests, which is really nice. And you can actually complete a lot of the quests from this journal. For your guides, again, you have the pet menu, the mount menu, codex, the world map, the training room, the training area, and some of these, again, you will not have unlocked. For the community, you've got the market, you've got Strongholds, Raid, find party, voice chat, emotes, guilds, friends. And then up here in the top bar, something that I want you to just see, you have your currencies, which we'll talk about a little later, but all your currencies are up here. You've got your, you can show the currency menu by clicking that right there. You've got your mail. You've got your stronghold notifications. You've got product inventory for any sort of gifts that you receive, daily login, and certain chats and everything like that. So that's essentially a rundown of the menus very, very briefly. Now, let's talk about icons. Icons are very important in this game too to help you understand some things. So the first icon I want you to pay attention to is the main quest icons. These are these little golden things, right? It says main right here. And then these world ones are also essentially main quests that you'll get later on, but these are the main quest icons. Any quests that look like this are side quests. They have the yellow tint to them. They're not orange, okay? Any quest that is chained, so you see a chain there, what that means is there is a series of quests. It's a chain of quests. And so by the time you finish all of them, you're gonna get a lot of rewards from it. Now, why are these purple? Purple means that these are essentially roster quests or like adventure quests that teach you something. A lot of times you'll see quests that will go through a tutorial with you to show you like, okay, this is what guilds are. Okay, this is what raids are. This is what X, Y, or Z is. So purple usually gives you roster XP, and then they will also sometimes be quests that are guides. They're supposed to teach you something, okay? These are just normal side quests that have a chain. When you see the question mark, that means there's a quest to turn in. Now, for these type of quests, these like light blue, these are weekly quests that you can pick up. Now, these blue ones that look like the house, these are stronghold quests. These quests give you certain experience for your house, which we'll get into a little later, and they just give you different tasks to do as well. And then just some basic symbols on the map for you. These are triport symbols, which we'll get into here in a few minutes. And the hearts are people that you can rapport. The anvils are places that you can repair. You'll see little potions and icons like that. Those are usually just merchants. I just want you guys to know those just in case. Now let's move on to questing. We went through a little bit of what the questing icons look like. So when you start questing, you're going to start earning currencies, and you're like, okay, what do I do with all these? I'm going to cover currencies up to level 50, because when you hit level 50, you start getting more in a sense. But again, if you look at here at the currency tab, we'll click it. You start earning silver from a lot of currencies. This is going to be your basic currency for NPCs. You'll then start getting gold, which is going to be more valuable, that you'll trade to players and everything like that as well. You also see that you'll get phoenix plumes, which are helping you resurrect. So don't use these necessarily early on if you can, because you will need these later in the game. The other thing that you will get is crystals. Crystals can be used in the shop, but also can be earned in the game as well. Something that you will start earning as well is you'll start earning pirate coins. This is something that you can use for your stronghold and also just other various activities. So when you start leveling up, you may see your character level, and then you might see your roster level right here, and you're like, what is the difference? I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the roster is essentially your account-wide progression on the server. So all of your characters will contribute to this, and every time you level it up, you will gain certain passives, cosmetics, and rewards. And there's also collectibles that will also give you a lot of roster XP. It's sort of like ESO CP, if you're familiar with that, and other rewards as well. These stats actually do affect your characters though, like I said, and essentially they're just it's earned by collecting, doing quests, and all that good stuff. Something that is also account wide in this game is the Rapport options, and Rapport is the heart icons, like I said. To the adventure tab and go to Rapport. These are all the NPCs that can essentially be rapported, okay? And the higher the rapport is essentially how much the NPC likes you. You will need to do emotes, you will need to sing, you will need to talk, and do quests for them to increase their rapport level. Now, you'll see over here, I've got this lady, you can do this. So right here, I don't have any instruments that I can play because I don't have that song, but I do have an emote, so I'll do this emote, and it will increase her level to about halfway on the bar for the most part. And right now I'm level 2 on Amicables. You're also going to receive various rewards from completing certain levels, and you can see the rewards in the actual Rapport menu. So if you go here, I go to Thunder and I click details, you'll see that I can get a card at the friendly, and then I will get a ritual food ingredient and Harmony Battle engraving recipe from her at Trusted, which is really, really nice. The other things that you can do is give them gifts. Okay, so you'll see here that it says give gift. Right now, I currently don't have any gifts to give them, but what this does is it boosts their rapport insane amounts. You'll see like 10,000 for some of these items, right? You can receive those items by doing quests, doing completion things, and just various other activities. You can give 99 gifts a day across all NPC people. So you can't give 99 per person, but 99 across all NPCs. And when it comes to the instruments, you can play 5 plus 1, because I have the actual Crystalline Aura, but 5 songs across all NPCs. And then emotes is the same thing, 5 across all NPCs. So if I had 5 songs to play right now, I could play 5 songs for Thunder, and then I wouldn't be able to play any more songs for anyone else in the world. Rapport NPCs can also be placed in your home when you get them maxed out on their bar as well. There's a lot to go into with Rapport. Again, this is a beginner guide, so we're not going to touch into all of that today. But let's move on to traversing the map. We've talked about everything else for the most part before that, but traversing the map, it's sometimes very difficult to do in MMOs, and especially in games like ESO where the world is so big, or like WoW where the map looks like it was made in 1978, which I understand that if you played WoW back in the day, it probably isn't that confusing, but for someone who tried WoW in 2018 for the first time, I had no idea what I was looking at. Lost Ark's map is massive to say the least, but it's very intuitive and the UI looks great for it. First of all, if you press M, you will pull up the world map and it will put you in the zone that you are in. It will be zoomed in on the town or the area. You can then right click your mouse and zoom out, and you will see the zone or little continent section that you are in. If you do right click again, it will be the whole world map that you'll see every single continent and every single grid square. The world map is broken down into quadrants that you see here, but that is something we'll talk about in sailing. You can also pull up an overlay of the map zone if you are in the world screen by pressing tab, and it will show you the zone or the area that you're in, and you can move about and it will just follow you, which is really nice. Next, let's talk about fast travel. Does it have it? Yes, it has many forms of fast travel. This is what I was talking about earlier with the triports. The most basic form of fast travel is the triports. So again, you'll see the triports here, so you can click them and teleport them for silver. If you have the Crystalline Aura, it's free. You can also right click and you can teleport to other areas in your continent as well. But you see how we're in this continent right here. I cannot teleport to a triport in North Vern because it is a separate continent. You'll see that it is grayed out, okay? That's something to keep in mind. Now, this is not like ESO where you go up to a triport and you can, travel from triport to triport and make it free. It's not like that. You just have to click on it. I tried doing that when I first started and it just didn't work. Now, real quick, while we're talking about fast traveling, I want to talk about the songs that you get. I told you about the sheet music. If you press the F2 tab, you'll see all of these different songs. You're going to get a lot of these by just playing the game. So Song of Escape will leave dungeons and islands and your stronghold, okay? Song of Trixion is something that you'll go back to see, like the tutorial lady again. Song of Return, though, this is the song that will put you on your Hearthstone. So like in WoW, you have a Hearthstone. In this game, you have a Hearthstone too. So what I would recommend is putting your Hearthstone in a continent that you maybe don't have, if you're not going to go back there a ton, but you need to access a lot of these areas. So for instance, my Hearthstone is in East Lutera in a major city, because all the Hearthstones are these blue icons right here. So every single major continent has essentially a Hearthstone. So if you look in North Vern, I can put one there as well. So my Hearthstone is in East Lutera, but that is what that song is. But no matter what continent you're on, you can always Hearthstone back to your base. You're like, Adam, so how do I get to one continent to the other? And so if you can't go to the triport or you don't have your Hearthstone, one way you can do it is you can go over here to a port city and you can go to this white little note icon and you can use a cruise liner. So if I wanted to go to, let's say, Turtoik, I would pay 550 silver, I would board, and then this would take me there for 550 silver. Now, obviously, there's other ways to get to these continents, which requires you to sail with your ship, which you will unlock when you complete the first continent here in Lost Ark. But you'll see here that we're going to now go on the cruise liner. It is about to launch, and then essentially you don't have to do anything. It just does the cruise liner, and we go to a certain continent. So I am now here. Something that you can do, like I told you, is you can sail. So if you want to sail, you click ready to sail and you'll get to the nearest port that you're in for the continent. you will go to your ship. And again, I'm not going to go super into sailing because I can make a whole other guide on sailing. But essentially, you have a crew. You have to repair your ship. You can upgrade your ship, all this other stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set sail, and you'll see that we are sailing. It's pretty beautiful, and we are in the open seas now, so we could literally sail wherever, unless it has areas that are just hard on my ship that's going to be kind of dangerous. But yeah, we have all these areas that we can sail to. And yeah, so what I'll do is I'll actually go up to Annika over here. Now, the other thing I want to mention when you're sailing is you can boost by pressing space, and you can collect little things that give you more energy and all that good stuff. But as you see, your durability will go down as you sail, and that will essentially, you'll have to repair that every time you dock, or if you don't, eventually it'll run out. But you'll earn the fast, whatever currency it is that you get from those barrels, and it will allow you to boost more, and then your space bar here will fill up again. And again, you can always auto sail by pressing T, which is really, really nice as well. But you'll see we are almost in Annika, and it's a very relaxing thing just to sail, but our fast sailing bar is actually increasing, so once it hits that, we're going to max up, and we're going to boost over here into the port. Okay, we're here, so we can press Z to dock. We're going to dock, and we will go on to the main land. Now, there's one other fast travel method that I want to mention that is something you will unlock later in the game, but this is called the Bifrost. If you look up here, you'll see the Bifrost right here. If you do not have the Crystalline Aura, you can only have one location, but if you have the Crystalline Aura, you can have 2 more locations, okay? Now, in order to use this, basically just click move, and it moves you to a continent for a silver cost. Now, if you want to save a continent's location, you just click save, and you can move it. I'm not going to save this area because I don't really want this as a Bifrost location. So what I normally do is I put them in areas that I'm going to go back to recently. So like Shoeshire, North Vern, Arthentine, because I want to complete some things there. But if I just want to go to North Vern, I click move, and I'm going on the Bifrost, and I move to wherever my location that I went to was saved. Now, let's talk about life skills. You just saw there that I just harvested something from the ground. It was like a forest looking like plant thing, and you'll see here that I'm cutting a tree. Now, life skills are gathering essentially. They're harvesting, they're all types of things like that, right? They're wood cutting, fishing. These life skills include logging, hunting, fishing, foraging, excavating, and mining. You can check your life skills by pressing the L key. So look, foraging, logging, mining, hunting, fishing, excavating, and they have certain levels tied to them. Amazing thing about life skills is that you have a separate inventory for them, which is really, really neat. So if you look in your storage here, you'll see all your life skills storage right there. It's really, really nice. But essentially, I highly recommend doing these skills as soon as you can, as soon as you unlock them, which will be, I think, around level 30-ish, because they are very helpful later in the game. And in these skills, you can earn a bunch of resources that will help you create things in your stronghold, which I will get to here in a second. But you also earn special collectibles called World Tree Leaves, which I'll talk about in the collectibles section here a little later. But these resources are basically how you craft items in your stronghold, and those items can help you in raids, dungeons, all kinds of things. So these life skills are very important. Now, you also see that you have energy down here. This is something that's going to basically deplete as you daily as you do life skills, and once it depletes, it'll recharge over time and reset each day. So you basically just have to keep that in mind as you keep doing your life skills. Let's talk about strongholds. Strongholds are housing. Again, this is a video in itself for sure, but to get to your stronghold, you'll basically unlock it very early on. But you can click the Song of Hearth and Home and play it, and it will go to your stronghold. So we'll go to the stronghold, and I'll explain this a little bit. So in the stronghold, you'll see you have an assistant that's a butler, and you have all these different areas, right? So the main things I want to talk about in the stronghold are the research, the dispatches, and creating things. So if you go to your management here, you'll see that you can do research. Okay, what research does is it allows you to essentially increase certain abilities in your stronghold. It will decrease cooldowns, like research speed. It will also be able to craft certain things. So for me, I'm gonna do this research. It's gonna craft a ship for me to use for dispatches. So I'm gonna do that, and it takes real life time for the research to complete. Okay, you'll see here, this is the dispatch UI. These dispatches essentially will give you Stronghold XP, pirate coins, raid seals, providence stones, and other things as well, depending on how the actual dispatch goes. So In order to increase the rewards that you get, you'll see that it has these icons here, okay, these hardships. Now, you want to pair those icons with crew members that you collect over time that have those. So for this dispatch, I should be able to do, yeah, so you'll see I have 2 ice and this little earthquake one, and that gives me a 43% adaptation. Okay, so that just allows me to be able to have a better mission. So I'm gonna dispatch the ship and they'll go on a mission, and it takes 10 hours and 44 minutes to complete. Okay, the next tab I want you to see is I want you to see the workshop. This is where you create stuff. You'll see hit point potions, elemental potions, panceas, bombs, camouflage, flares, all types of stuff here. And look, it takes resources, right? These resources are gathered a lot of times by doing things in your stronghold and or doing life skills that I was talking about earlier. There is something under stronghold called a farm, which you'll see on the map right here, which is the farm. And this is where you farm certain materials that are used in the stronghold specifically, okay? The other cool thing about the stronghold is there is a merchant up here that visits every certain time each day. This merchant will sell certain things that you can exchange your currencies for. So if you look here, you can get rapport items, skill runes, secret maps, legendary card packs, and they take certain seals, right? We own 2,000 of these seals, so I can't get all of these, but this is just really, really nice for if you've got something for your class that you want to get. These merchants have some really, really nice things. These merchants also sometimes have rotating crew members that you can get more crew members for, which is really, really cool. And again, this is just a really crucial part of the game that it takes 5 seconds to do each day. I'll have another guide on this because this is very in depth. So if you press the End tab, you will see the Adventure Tome. Now, Joe made a guide on the Adventure Tome. I'll link it down in the description. He goes through everything you need to know about the Adventure Tome, okay? But essentially, the Adventure Tome is just the collectibles that you can earn and certain things you can get in each continent. You'll see that you have all the continents up here. At each percentage point of 10%, you can get certain rewards. You can get a mount, you can get skill runes, potions, rapport items, housing items, and these Ignia tokens, which can be turned in for even more collectibles. This is like the ultimate completionist guide right here. Again, I'm not going to go any more into this because Joe has a whole guide on it that you can check out down in the description. But collectibles, that's just one type of collectible, right? Ignia tokens. There's all types of collectibles. There's masterpieces. Okay, masterpieces can give you certain things, and there's certain rewards you get for collecting masterpieces. You look right here, you have all these different rewards. It's insane. Okay, you then have Makoko seeds. Makoko seeds are spread throughout all of the world. Giant hearts, which you start earning later on. You have island souls, which again have rewards. All these have rewards attached to these things. You have world tree leaves, which you will get through doing life skills. Okay, that's something that's really, really nice. And again, there's all these different rewards that you can get from it. You have sea bounties, which again have rewards as well attached to it. It's insane, y'all. There are so many collectibles in this game. It's just crazy. Okay, so that's also something that is account wide. So you'll see here, I have Makoko leaves in these, or Makoko seeds in these zones. So that is on all my characters. All my characters will see that. I don't have to collect them again, which is really nice. Next, speaking of collectibles, let's talk about card packs. Card packs are something that you're going to probably be using later in the game, but I just want to touch on it briefly. You're going to earn these throughout the whole playthrough so much, and essentially each of them have sets. So you'll see here I have 4 of the 6 Grandmaster Trial cards. When you collect a certain amount of these, right? Look, a set of 2 here gives us lightning damage reduction. A set of 4 gives us lightning damage reduction 8%. If you get 6 of them, it gives us even more. And if you get, certain other effects right here, you'll see they give other things as well. So these are for very specific in-game builds that you'll want to collect. So don't worry about this too much as a beginner, but just know that as you're collecting these, this is what you're collecting. You're collecting set effects that will give you passives and benefits later in the game. Next, let's move on to the cash shop. Okay, I don't really know a ton about the cash shop, but I just want to give you guys a quick rundown. There's this thing called Mari's Secret Shop, which essentially gives you daily deals that you can be used to get in-game materials. I've heard that you can trade your gold for crystals, which is the best way to do it is through here, once you get the crystals. But essentially, this is where you buy certain services, certain skins, packs, all sort of stuff. I haven't bought a single thing in this game yet. If you want to pay money, you can pay money, but this is just essentially any other kind of game shop. It's got all kinds of cosmetics and stuff like that as well. But the next thing I want to talk about is the Crystalline Aura. Crystalline Aura is essentially a subscription service, and this was given to me for free because I got the Founders Pack from Sticky, so thank you, Sticky. And what this is essentially, this is just little perks it gives you. It's kind of like ESO Plus. And essentially it makes your triports free, it makes your ocean liner fee 50% off, your daily report actions give +1, so you can do one more daily report action. You get more life energy recovery, you get the Bifrost slots like I told you, you get better cooldowns on Saga of Return, and you get better, Stronghold research times, all these different benefits, right? Is this necessarily worth it? There's other perks too, like with your pet, you can access many things from your pet's menu. Personally, when I didn't have this Crystalline Aura, I didn't really feel like it was like something that I needed in the game. The one thing I will say that is nice is having the extra Bifrost slot so you can teleport to other continents really quickly. But like I said, Joe has a video down in the description that talks about the Adventure Tome, and this is just scratching the surface of Lost Ark. There is so much content to be covered in this, and if you really want me to cover more content or guides, let me know down in the comment section. Please like the video, and I'll cover specific guides for each section because I just couldn't cover everything in today's video. This video is already really long, but if you do want to watch me play this live, I do stream it sometimes during the week, but I do stream Tuesday through Friday. I do some variety, I do some ESO, but make sure to like the video again if you did like it. But I do appreciate everyone watching today. Thank you so much for coming here, and just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on any game I'm playing.